following program is brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization. Welcome to the Unfinished Workweek, a show for those working 55, 60, or 65 hours a week. And now, here is your host, Andy Guterowitz.
Well, good evening, everybody. How's everybody tonight? It's a great night down here in Tampa, Florida, even though we're in New York still. You know that. We're always in New York City. But it's a beautiful day down here, and I don't know what it's doing in New York, but I know in the Midwest they have terrible storms and everything else. You have to say hello to our new producer. A lovely, lovely little lady. Her name is Jen. Don't call her Jennifer because she gets upset about that. Right, Jen? How you doing? You doing good? I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Jen. Anyhow, as usual, tonight, the first part of the night, you're going to get my comments regarding stress in the workplace. And you know I'm very much against the stress in the workplace because it's not healthy. So tonight, I'm going to open up our program with something from the Harvard Business Review, so you know it's just not Andy Guterowitz telling you about these unhealthy tactics that managers portray today in the work area, but actually the Harvard Business Review is here too, and that gives it more credibility for you because you don't believe Andy Guterowitz, you have to believe Harvard. Anyhow, if you do call in tonight, our call-in number is 813-639-8255. That should be scrolling along the bottom of the screen almost all night long. When you see it, call in. Express your opinions. You can talk about anything you want to talk about. You can talk about a overbearing boss if you want to talk about it. I don't care what you want to talk about because there's a cure for all that stress, all right? That's the main thing that we want to talk about. If you do call in, turn down your speakers if you don't mind, because otherwise we get some backlash coming over here and it doesn't sound good on your end and it certainly doesn't sound good on this end. But please call in. We want to have a conversation with you if you call in. All right? And the main thing about what we do this show is about eliminating stress from the workplace and therefore you leading a healthier life. Always have to send out to my sponsor that has put us on page 1 of Google in Europe and in Asia and pretty soon in the United States. And that man is Trevor Lott. Unbelievable stuff they're doing over there at world-markets.biz. Go to their website, world-market.biz. If you own a company and you've got a website, I guarantee you're probably not on the first page of a Google search, which means you're paying for that website and you're paying to have that website hosted, but who's seeing it? 91.6% of the people that search, including you, never get past the first page. Only 4.8 get past the first page and go to the second page. Kids, that's 96% of the people that are searching the web only go to the first 2 pages. If your website is coming up on page 3, nobody's seeing it. So if you want to know more about that, get in touch with me, 609-410-9291, 609-410-9291. I can tell you how you can get your website linked into a number 1 ranking on Google in 7 to 11 days, not just for one day, but for the whole year. All right, let's get into this little thing that I have discovered here. I love to do my research. In the Harvard Business Review, I mean, you know, how much better can you get than this, you know? And it says here, managers apply pressure to themselves and their teams in the belief that it will make them more productive. That's what they think. They keep on putting this pressure on you. You know, after all, stress is an intrinsic part of work and critical element of achievement. Without a certain amount of it, we'd never perform at all. And that is true. That is called good stress. When we put good stress on ourselves and we achieve something, we're feeling good. That serotonin kicks in, the dopamine kicks in, you know? This is really cool stuff. Yet the dangers of burnout are real. Studies by the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health indicate that some 40% of all workers today feel overworked, pressured, and squeezed to the point of anxiety, depression, and disease. That's you. We're talking about you. Some of those colds are lasting a little bit longer than they used to. But sometimes you don't see what's happening in your body, and that doesn't show up until, years later. And the problem's getting worse, it says. Today, the American Institute of Stress reports roughly 60% of doctor visits stem from stress-related complaints and illnesses. In total, American businesses lose, listen to this, you business people out there, listen to this, you're losing $300 billion a year to lowered productivity, absenteeism, health care, and related costs stemming from stress. It's all crazy. It's all crazy because we cut our head counts, we throw all this workload on the remaining people, and you're still demanding from those people that they produce, their productivity levels. Get real. Please get real. You should know this information. If I know it, you managers should know it. You CEOs should know it. So what they did a study over here, and they did it in conjunction with Harvard. And Benson and Proctor have found that managers can learn to use stress productively by applying what they call the breakout principle. Now, what is this breakout principle? By using simple techniques to regulate the amounts of stress one feels, a manager can increase performance and productivity and avoid burnout. That's what a manager is supposed to do. He manages his team to be efficient and effective and productive. But if you put too much stress on it, bad stress, you're not going to get those results. It's just like you're playing any sports or anything of that nature. Once you put too much pressure on yourself, you don't play and score as well as if you're free and easy and you know you're going to do well. That's the manager's job, to make you feel that way, that upbeat, that positive way. Now, question. Many companies offer various kinds of stress reduction programs, from on-site yoga classes and massage to fancy gyms to workshops. What's wrong with these? That's a good question, because there was for a while people doing this. They got workout gyms at the workhouse and everything else. Well, this is what's been found about that. They're hardly ever used, by the way. It's critical that companies do something to address the rampant negative effects of the workplace stress if they want to compete effectively. HR may bring in a lecturer once or twice a year, or set up a Tai Chi sessions and urge everybody to go. But few people ever show up. Why? Because they feel they can't take the time to take a break to eat their lunch, because they're eating their lunches at their desks anyhow. And much less spend an hour doing something perceived as both unrelevant to work and relaxing to boot. They're afraid of what the people are going to say. Unless the leadership and culture explicitly encourage people to join in, employees will continue to feel guilty. Can you imagine that? You're working 55, 60, and 65 hours a week, and they're still making you feel guilty? Or worry that they'll be seen as a slacker if they go. So here is something that a company, bright lights, they're putting the spin on it. Oh, we're helping you with your stress. We're helping you. Look at what we're doing for you. But if you go, you're a slacker. That's really nice. That really is cool. They want the CEO to say you have to attend those things. And you're going to see why in a minute. So, the state of affairs is inexcusable, and if you look at the billions lost to absenteeism, turnover, disability, insurance costs, workplace accidents, violence, go postal, workers' compensation and lawsuits, not to mention the expense of replacing valuable employees lost to stress-related problems. So it says this: leaders who learn to manage stress and help their employees to do likewise can tap into enormous productivity and potential while mitigating costs. So, the question is, in closing, what is the science behind your latest research, and what does it reveal? Well, this is what it reveals. Neurologically, what happens is this. When we encounter a stressor at work, and that's something that makes us stressed out, we can deal with it for a little while before the negative effects set in. But if we are exposed for excessively long periods, and that's exactly what's happening to you out there with the head counts and the piling on the work, and we got to get more out of you, we're not making enough money, the pressure on will become too great, and our system will be flooded with the hormones amphetamine, norepinephrine, and cortisol. These cause blood pressures to rise and the heart rate and brain activity to increase. Negative stuff. That's how you get sick. That's how people get their heart attacks from stress. That's how you get a stroke. You get heart disease. Why? They're not going to go to your funeral. I'm trying to tell you this. It's up to management and your company to learn how to manage to a stress level. And that's what they're saying here. By our latest findings indicate that by completely letting go of the problem, at the point by applying certain triggers, the brain, listen to this. So when you get stressed out and you're right up at the edge and you're ready to crack, all of a sudden they're saying, pull the rug out from underneath you. Relax at that point in time. Relax instead of going over the edge. Because certain triggers, the brain actually rearranges itself so that the hemispheres communicate better. Then the brain is better able to solve the problem. Isn't that something? That is incredible. Efficiencies increases when good stress increases, but only up to a point. After that, performance fails off drastically because good stress becomes bad stress. By pulling the rug out, studies have shown that the calming response releases little puffs of nitric oxide, which has been linked to the production of such neurotransmitters as endorphins and dopamine. And those are the things we want in our bodies. These chemicals enhance general feelings of well-being. As the brain quiets down, another phenomenon that we call commotion, or a focused increase in activity, takes place in the area of the brain associated with attention, space-time concepts, and decision-making. Unbelievable what this brain can do if we treat it right and understand it. And finally, we find this to be an intriguing phenomena. It's a phenomena that the brain only can do. By bringing the brain to the height of its activity and then suddenly moving it into a passive, relaxed state, it's possible to stimulate much higher neurological performance than would otherwise have been the case. Isn't that something? I mean, let's look at this for a little while. What they're saying is this. What Harvard is saying is this. They understand you got stress in the workplace. You put stress on yourself. Come on, we all do. But that's good stress when it's our stress. When somebody else keeps on putting stress on, these demands. All of a sudden, the first priority is priority 1A, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, 1B, 1C. It never gets off priority number 1. Because managers don't understand how a knowledge worker works, and they don't understand how the brain processes information so it doesn't get stressed out. And here they are saying, 35 years worth of experience, and they're saying, yeah, keep that stress up. Keep that good stress going up there. There's going to be a reward at the end when I accomplish this. But as soon as you get up there and they're getting too stressed out, stop it. Pull the rug out, let them relax, let the brain relax. It reorganizes itself, and it comes back stronger and more intellectually understanding of the problems than it was when you were putting all the stress on them. It's just phenomenal what the brain can do. And it's phenomenal to me that managers, CEOs, upper-level management don't know this. It's costing them $300 billion a year in an industry because they overstress people. And when people are overstressed, their efficiency ratings go down. Mistakes increase. What happens to profits? What happens to profits, you big guys up there at the top? What's happening to that? They go down too. And I've seen it happen in real life. So it's not, an untruth what I'm telling you over here. I'm telling you exactly the truth. I'm telling you exactly what's happening in the workplace. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit back and say, well, that's the way we conduct business here, and my boss wants this and needs this, and so therefore, I got to get it done because otherwise I'm not going to have a job? How about, this is real facts. This isn't managing in the 1950s, the 1960s, the 1970s, the 1980s, the 1990s. These managers are in the year 2000, 2014. Everything has changed. And you know what? Managing people have changed because the people they manage have changed. But they haven't changed their management skills. They just keep on piling the work on, and they think because intrinsically you want to get that work done for yourself because you feel if I don't get it done, I haven't done my job. And that's a falsehood. Your body's a machine. It can only do so much work. Your brain is a machine. It has capacities as to how much it can process during a particular period of time. I'm not blaming you, but I am blaming you. That was kind of paradoxical, right? I'm blaming you because you know the truth. So why in the world aren't you going back to your managers and saying, hey, by the way, do you know this? Do you know the brain can only remember 8 new things in an hour? Do you realize that there's good stress and there's bad stress? And if I'm overloaded with bad stress, it produces these things called cortisol that are cell-killing chemicals. In other words, they're killing you. And I'll bet you any money some of your managers are more stressed out than you are. Betcha. Because they don't know how to handle stress. It's not so much to say you have to learn how to manage stress. I can't say I don't believe in that because stress is a given. Good stress you want to have. Bad stress you got to manage because somebody else is putting it on you. So I always say go back to the source. Why do you have to manage it at all? Why does it have to exist at all? And that's what this Harvard Business Review article is all about. It doesn't have to exist. Take the good stress and get it up to the top of that bell curve and pull the rug out before it becomes bad stress and give your mind a break. That's what they're telling you. It's a very simple little thing. You can read all the words of this report, but it comes down to that. It comes down to taking that stress, the good stress up before it becomes bad stress, take the rug out and let your brain relax and let it reorganize itself, and it comes back that much more powerful. You'll like it. Believe me, you're going to like that when that happens to you. Okay? So I always promise you that I'm going to talk about stress in the workplace. I always promise you that it's not just going to be my ideas about stress in the workplace, even though I've seen a lot out there. It's not going to be all my ideas. Anything on this show is factual. I've researched it. Harvard Business Review, I've researched it. And in the Harvard Business Review over here, they're quoting the American Institute of Stress, right? They said 60%. Do you know when that was? 60% of the doctor visits stem from stress-related. Do you know when that was? That was in 2004, 10 years ago. 10 years ago. You would think that that number would have decreased. But it hasn't. You know it hasn't. If anything, it's increased. So we've been living with this crazy thing that we know about for 10 years. And what's management done to help the worker, the knowledge worker, perform better by not having the good stress get demolished by the bad stress? Tell your management to give me a call. I got programs. Tell them to give me a call. Tell them if they want to find out how they should be managing you today so that you can lead a non-stressful life at the right amount of good stress, then I can help it get done. And I can help them reduce their loss of $300 billion a year. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. I'll close with a couple of more comments afterwards, but first of all, our next thing is to introduce our first guest of the evening. And I'm sorry to say that we couldn't get her to Skype in tonight. Poor thing. She's got She's got a Mac computer, and I'll tell you what, she can't get a camera for her computer. It's not a laptop, so it doesn't automatically come with one. And so tonight we're just going to have to do another little phone interview with our friend that is down in the Miami area, in the Fort Lauderdale area. And of course, her name is Victoria Hagendorf. She is the publisher of Lifestyles magazine. If you want, you can reach her at 954-771-4407, or her cell number. She's so nice to give her a cell phone number so we can call her at any time of the night you want to call, folks. No, I'm only kidding with you. 754-246-7774. Excuse me. Give you those numbers again, 954-771-4407. Cell number is 754-246-7774. If you want to email her at Vicky, VICKY H, Vicky H, at bellsouth.net. And hopefully, Vicky, you are on the line. Hello? Vicky? Victoria? Victoria? Well, folks, here we go. The phone is ringing. I can hear the phone ringing. Smile. This is not Candid Camera, but smile. This is live. Hello, is this Victoria?
Yes, it is.
Victoria, where were you? I just gave you a fantastic introduction, and I go, and here's Victoria, and I got silence.
Well, here I am now.
How are you?
I'm back.
How are you tonight, my dear? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Oh, always a smile on my face, lady. Always a smile on my face.
That's great. So, anyway, let me get started here and get everyone up to speed.
Wait a minute. Victoria.
Yeah.
What is this Lifestyles magazine about? Should a guy read that magazine?
Oh, definitely. Beautiful women all through it.
So a businessman should definitely read your magazine because there's good-looking women in it.
Oh, yeah. And great places to eat and keep young and make themselves as good-looking to the women as they can.
So what do you got for us tonight, sweetheart?
Well, I have a couple of places I'd like to tell you about, and the first is Dan and Linda Rollins at Center for Optimal Health in Fort Lauderdale, and they practice the brainwave optimization. This is a technique designed by Lee Gerds, who struggled with post-traumatic stress for over 9 years after a vicious assault, and employs the EEG technology to gather information about the brainwave rhythms, which are from leads attached lightly to the skull. It sounds kind of crazy, but it works. They measure these brainwaves.
Stop, Victoria. Stop. Say that over again, because, I just got through speaking about the brain and stress levels of the brain and stuff like that. It was neurological. And you're talking about something neurological right here.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, what was that first part again? What this man suffered?
Okay, this is called brainwave optimization.
Okay.
And it's a technique that was designed by this gentleman who struggled with post-traumatic stress, and he came out with the EEG technology, which gathers information about brainwave rhythms. And there's leads attached lightly to the skull that measure this.
Yes.
And assess the client's brainwave balance.
Isn't that something?
Pardon?
I'm saying, isn't that something?
It really is. It's totally remarkable.
Now, this worked for him, right?
I'm sorry?
This worked for him, this therapy. Worked.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but it's the hottest thing out there. It's the best thing. It's all natural. It's working with your body. It's great. And, it It helps with everything from anger management, addiction, sleep, and depression, just to name a few. It's amazing what it can do.
Maybe he'd like to come on and on the show some night and maybe promote his show. He can do one of our promotion spots, and he could promote his business. This sounds incredible.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, let me give you their phone number. It's 954-491-6158.
Holy cow, Victoria.
Yeah, and I did speak to them, and maybe next week or so we could even do a remote from their office to fill you in even more.
That would be really good because it would help their business. This is a marketing thing. You know that. The show,
yes.
When we bring guests on, they are paying guests. We know that. And but look what they get out of this. I mean, they get all this exposure. They get a copy of what we're going to do on Skype with them, which they can use for marketing. I mean, and plus they're telling the public about what they've got. This is phenomenal.
It's brand new and it's wonderful. It's something that everybody should be aware of.
Yeah. Now, is that highlighted in your magazine at any time?
Yes, I write about they write about the brainwave optimization because there's always new things you can bring in and to keep reminding people. I think it's fantastic,
Oh, yeah. You surprised me with that one.
I'm sorry?
I said you surprised me with that one.
Oh, I know. I usually send you stuff before, but this time I
No. I mean because this was not a cruise. This is not a cruise ship. You actually
no cruise ships. And I also have another company that I think is really fabulous that I ran into, and it's a MediSpa that is owned and operated by a board-certified physician, where quality, non-surgical, anti-aging treatments are given by the physician herself. They are located on East Commercial Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. And their name is Cetera MediSpa, where Dr. Nita Matru has 14 years of experience in beauty-enhancing treatments, ranging from Botox, Dysport, Radies, Juvederm, to high-end non-surgical facelift using Sculptra and PRP deep skin rejuvenation.
I gotta love you. You know that, don't you, Vicki?
Oh, I know you do, honey.
Because this is a business show, and we're talking about getting a facelift, looking good. Now, tell me, how is this stuff going to help a business person?
Listen, everybody likes to look at a nice-looking person, man or woman.
Yes.
Your appearance is the first thing that anybody notices, and you only have one chance to make a first appearance.
God bless you, Vicki. You are on top of your game tonight.
Well, I feel that you have to, if you look good, you feel good.
And that's also true. Yes, I agree with you.
It really is. If you get up one morning and you look at yourself and you say, wow, I look good today, you go out and you do your job, whatever it might be. You talk to people, you crunch those numbers, you put out those reports, you're just like chugging along,
Oh, no.
And if you're kind of like, oh, God, I don't think I look so good, that's the time to take a deep, dark look at yourself and say, time to get some turnaround stuff done here, okay?
No, you're absolutely right, Victoria. I was kidding with you before, but you're absolutely right. When you start the day off and you look at yourself in the mirror, unless you're Amish and you don't do that, but that sets the day for you. The expression, a bad hair day, all of a sudden it's a bad day, If it's a good hair day, it's a good day.
It is so true, I know, because there's days I get up and I go, oh, man, I look terrible. And I'm in a terrible mood. And then there's other days I go, wow, I don't look too bad today, huh? and I got this big smile on my face and a nice lifting attitude. And everybody is very, they seem to be receptive to this type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
very good
the
because
public will be,
Yeah.
as you, become more outgoing and more assured of yourself, this is what happens.
yeah, and plus your endorphins kick in because you feel good and your good stress is there, not your bad stress. It is important. Now,
Yes.
we've got one more minute. What else you got for us?
Well, I also have a restaurant I'd like to tell everybody about. It's one of my favorites. It's called Luca, and it's located on the Galt Ocean Mile. They have great Italian food. Everything is made on premises. Their daily blackboard specials that I love are any of the homemade soups, ossobuco, short ribs, and their lasagna. Oh, made with homemade pasta. It is really the best I've ever had. You will find David, the owner, in the kitchen most of the time,
Yeah.
so you are assured of a great meal. By the way, try the tiramisu. He makes it himself.
Well,
Oh, yes, top off your day with a great meal. That's the way to end your day.
well, Vicki, I thank you so much for being part of this show, and you bring some good stuff. Tonight, you really good stuff. I like this stuff. Thank you so much.
And I just keep getting better and better.
Yes, you do, lady. All right, you have a good night, Vicki.
Okay, thank you, honey.
Bye-bye.
Have a great night. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Okay, now we're going to come to the portion of the show where you get to buy the book that I wrote, The Unfinished Work Week, Lost Personal Time. So take a look at this commercial and tell me what you think about it. But most importantly, go out and buy a book.
The beloved 55-hour work week. Who created it? Management or employees? Management claims their employees lack necessary collaborative communication and critical thinking skills, while employees feel management helped create the infamous 37% unproductive work week. Employers counter with the claim 20% of workers lack even the most rudimentary creative skills, while 71% of workers claim managers create ineffective and irrelevant meetings. Finally, executives want people who can make decisions, interact with their team in a manner that is easily understood. But if employees spend over 50% of the time managing their email, do they really have the time to learn new techniques? Well, so who is right? The answer is neither. First, both managers and employees are a management team, so stop pointing fingers at one another. And the management teams are complaining of the lack of effective communication. How many managers or employees understand the rules of memorable interaction? And certainly there are rules. Here are a few facts you should know before communicating. First, 90% of the day's events are forgotten. So how do you get into that 10% retention pool? Second, you only have the capacity to remember 8 new things in an hour. Just 8 new things. How much new information was included in your last meeting? And finally, we speak over 16,000 words a day, but it's like talking to ourselves because 86% of what we remember is seen and only 9% heard. So reduce the 55-hour work week while creating management teams that have effective, memorable interaction with coworkers, work well together, and take action on their own. Have the management team visit theunfinishedworkweek.com to learn all the rules to effective, memorable interaction. Or just call me, Andy Gutierrez, at 609-410-9291 for an appointment.
It's so nice to just do. Buy the book. Buy the book. Go to the website. Unfinishedworkweek.com. Theunfinishedworkweek.com. Buy the book. Okay? Anyhow, so now we're going to talk to our friends down there in on the eastern side of Florida again. The eastern side. And that would be my friend Valerie and Dr. Howard, who are here every week. Valerie is my senior producer. So, are you guys there? Can I see you?
Yes, we're here. I see you, but I don't think you can see us.
I don't see you.
Well,
there you are, Valerie.
Yeah.
Yes, how are you?
Hi. Yeah.
Have
that
a
was
good
quite-
day today, Val?
Yes, had a great day, Andy. And I'm so glad, that it went so well this evening with Victoria. And she gives us lots of good information, heads up on what's
Hey,
going on.
wasn't
out
that
there.
cool, the first thing she told us about tonight? That was really cool.
Really cool, I'm telling you. The other thing, I wanted to. Yeah, Howard is here with us tonight as well. He wanted to come on.
Did he bring my pizza with him or not?
Not yet, not yet. I wanted to discuss. I wanted to just mention that I was working. I actually have a friend that's in neuroscience, and we're developing something that is quite fascinating, and that I'm going to talk more about next week. As soon as I experience it, and it's custom audio visual brainwave entrainment. And what he can do is make a customized brainwave entrainment. It's a visual on the screen as well as auditory brainwave entrainment. And he shows brainwaves on the screen. And whatever you want to accomplish, say it's a focused attention, then we can entrain you with the delta, alpha, beta, gamma. And any of those that would be deemed appropriate for whatever your desired brainwave state would be. And I'm thinking all these people in their little cubicles
Yeah.
that have to be in their cubicles. You could take one of these pieces of software that's on the screen, and you can hear it. Sit in your cubicle for 15 minutes, and 15 minutes on one of these brainwave entrainment software applications can bring you like what's equivalent to like an hour's worth of sleep. So we're going to talk more about this. I'm kind of excited about it.
Valerie?
Yes.
Did you hear the beginning comments I made?
I didn't want to mention to you that we had problems pulling up. We had some technical problems here, and we were only able to pull up the screen about 5 minutes ago here at the studio here in Boca. So we did have problems in the beginning. We just heard the end of what Victoria was saying regarding how people, when you look better, you feel better. That's
No. I opened up with comments from a Harvard Business Review article. And they were talking, they did this big study on this about stress and how good stress is good up until that bell curve, and then it becomes bad stress. And what they did in these tests were to take people all the way up to the pinnacle of that bell curve on good stress just before it becomes bad stress and pulls the rug out, and it says, give the person a rest, give the brain a rest, and the brain automatically refocuses itself and comes back stronger and more attentive than it was before.
Right. That has a lot to do with what I anticipated.
Yeah, what you're just saying here.
Right. I didn't hear what you said, but I know where you're going with that. And I want to discuss this more next week once I experience it on screen. I'm working with them, and I should have a sample of that coming up, and we're going to share it with people out there. I can get it to them practically for nothing. And I want people to experience it and find out just how powerful this is. And everybody can use it at work.
Is it expensive?
No, gosh, no. Very inexpensive. Custom made can be $25 for
You're kidding
an
me.
hour. Yeah, that's what we're working on. We're trying to get keep the price down. So I'll tell you more about that next week once I speak with my girl scientist.
Don't you run away from me.
Okay.
Is it like putting a cap on? I mean, how does this work? You know, is it like a little beanie with a little thing twisting on top? I mean, what does it work?
Okay. This is how it would work. Actually, in the past, I dealt a lot with light and sound technology where you would wear goggles,
Yes.
earphones, where the light and sound technology work together that way. This is something else. This is something that comes on your computer screen. This is when it comes on your we have a custom design where it would be colors depending upon what frequency. It's going to be the Schumann resonance, which is the carrier frequency, which has an overall body healing effect on the body because it's what the earth is, the Schumann resonance. And these are put in with different brain wave signals that are actually visualized on your computer screen. Then we're putting subtle music to it that has been shown to enhance a beta, theta, whatever state that you want to be in. Gamma would be good probably, or beta, if you're at work and you wanted more of a focus or a high interest level, or if you want, everybody knows alpha waves. If you wanted to go ahead and watch the alpha waves and the music that goes with that, and it's not with headphones, it's just watching your computer, you can actually get what would be equivalent to an hour's nap and come back refreshed with your brainwave state. So I'm excited about this, and I think it's a wave of the future. I've been involved with it for 30 years. It's finally trickling down to the masses. And so I'm excited about it.
Oh, man, you should be.
Yeah. And we're going to promote this to our people, our listeners, so that they can have advantages and benefits from this at work. This is what we're here to answer. The question that you raise is, how can we help those people to focus in so that they don't have to drag their work home with them? Well, this is one of the ways.
Yeah.
So we're going to work on this. The
Unbelievable. I love it, Val. I love it.
Okay.
Now you got to put the good doctor on. We only got 5 minutes.
And he's here, and here he is.
Thank you, Val.
Later.
Good evening, Andy, and all of our fabulous viewers out there. How's everybody tonight?
Everybody is great. And so you bring a smile to my face, Doctor. Whenever I see you, I get a smile on my face because you're just a cool guy, Doctor.
Well,
you're a cool
you
guy.
made me smile first, so I'm glad it's a mutual thing.
And I like your tan. You got a real good, you're getting darker than me.
Thanks. Get a little bit of sun, a little bit.
That's
Not
good.
much-
Vitamin
not much
D,
sunlight.
right? We need the vitamin D.
We definitely do need the sun for the conversion of that vitamin D, and also for our melatonin and certain other neurotransmitter and hormone levels as well.
Yeah, yeah. Now I understand. Valerie told me you had a hard time getting on the show tonight, and I apologize to you and anybody else out there. I apologize to you for that happening. What happened? If you can tell me.
Well, it seems that for some reason we were fooled into thinking that the show was not on the air because tonight's show is numbered number 6, and that was about 4 weeks ago. And last week's show was numbered 9-2, although it was supposed to be number 10. So it was even a little confusing last week. But I don't know what happened with that, with the numbering. Perhaps
Okay.
it was a technological glitch of some sort. But we
All
found
right.
it under episode number 6.
Okay.
And tonight, I believe, should have been 10 or 11.
All right. Don't worry about it. Andrew fixes all things. But when I first started out, I'm going to ask you a question here.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of the Yerkes-Dodson curve?
The Yerkes-Dodson curve.
This was done by the Harvard Business Review.
Oh, okay. Yes. You're talking about when too much good stress,
Yes,
or you know how big I am on sayings.
I know.
Here's another one. Too much of a good thing.
Too much. of a
Remember
good
that?
thing. Yes.
And that goes right along with our philosophies of health in Chinese medicine. As a matter of fact, one of the most well-known too much of a good thing philosophies in Chinese medicine is that too much joy can actually injure the heart.
No,
Yeah?
No, doctor. I don't agree with that. I'm
Well-
I'm a 60s person, doctor.
I know, me too.
Well, then you know. Good
Hey,
stuff in the
I-
60s.
I was a hippie. Peace and joy and love and flowers.
That lady in the room with you was also a flower child. Believe me, I know that.
I know all
I'm the
about it.
original.
She still looks that way. But anyhow, this curve, you must have heard of this Dr. William Proctor and Benson,
Yes, friends.
right? Herbert Benson, he's an MD, founder of the Mind Body
Benson,
Medical
yes.
Institute in Chestnut Hill, Mass.
Absolutely, I'm familiar with Dr. Benson. Fabulous work that he does.
Yeah, this is where I got that information from. I do my research, you know that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You certainly do. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, so do I. So what I really can't get over, Doctor, is how managers today they're just killing their workers. They have no idea how to work with the stress-filled atmosphere that a worker works in, and has worked in for years.
And to allow and enable people to be their best, feel their best, therefore do their best and give their best. And this is what you're talking about here. And I know it's so true. And this goes also right along with what I had mentioned a few weeks ago, which you knew all about, that we can only study efficiently for about 20 minutes.
That's right.
Well, working goes right along those same lines. You can only work very effectively for a certain period of time. Mm-hmm. And that's why most accidents and mistakes happen on the job when? During overtime.
That's right, overtime.
And that's one of the reasons that your book is such a beautiful piece of work for everyone out there that finds themselves overstressed and overworked. We need to learn and understand why it was so important to our founding fathers to limit the number of hours and days that people can work.
But don't you agree what I said earlier tonight? You might not have heard it, but I said, I can't blame just the managers and the CEOs. No. The worker is going to take some responsibility of saying to the manager, by the way, do you know this about stress? Do you know this about good stress? Do you know this about bad stress? Have you read anything on it? Listen to our show, you learn something. I mean, they can do that to help themselves tell their boss about this.
Yes, they certainly can. And you might be surprised to know that there are actually corporations today that are giving training in just those very things. It has to happen a lot more and hopefully a lot faster, but there are corporations that are actually doing that. And perhaps we can get on that bandwagon as far as proliferating this all-important and even life-saving knowledge and information that everyone who works for a living really needs to know.
You and I should get on that bandwagon, my friend.
We should. Well, you know what, Andy? I think that thanks to your show, we actually are, because we're bringing a lot of this all-important knowledge to all of your viewers. And I think that you probably have a pretty savvy viewership out there.
Yeah, so, when they see us.
They're probably mostly all professional people, working people, and they watch your show because they understand how important our health and our longevity and our productivity, and therefore what we can actually contribute to the world is.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot, Doctor.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Andy. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's always a great delight, and speaking with you is as well, and I look forward to next week.
Yes, we'll be here.
Great.
Have a good night now. Well, folks, here we are back here. My time is almost up. It's 8:47 and a half, which means I have 2.5 minutes to go. I do want to thank my guests, Dr. Howard and Val. They came up with some really good ideas tonight that can help you in your stress-filled life. And please, take a listen to this stuff. This stuff is, as you well know, archived. You can go back and re-listen to it again. You don't have to listen to my long dissertations if you don't want to. But, my friend Victoria coming out and talking about how the mind works with the stress. And now they've got something even for that. Like Val was saying and Victoria is saying, we have some non-intrusive ways of allowing us to get into our brains, get it to that relaxed state. It's almost like taking a 10-minute nap. And you come back refreshed, and we all know that that's been talked about for years. Take a 10-minute quick nap, take it at lunchtime, you come back, you're wicked refreshed. The only thing is today, you don't have that 10 minutes anymore. So, maybe doing some things after work, like Victoria suggests, or getting more involved with Val is talking about, even at work. It comes up on your computer screen. You don't even need earphones, but you can de-stress yourself and make yourself more healthy. And that's what we want to do. Okay, folks, I'm going to bring this to a close. I ask you every week. Every week I ask you, is it worth it? Is it worth working 55, 60, 65 hours a week? Is it worth it for your health? Is it worth losing 6 to 10 years of your life, of being with your family? Because my last question is this: is your employer going to go to your funeral? Thank you very much. You have a good night tonight, the rest of the night, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you would like more information on what you just heard today, or you'd like to obtain your own copy of The Unfinished Workweek, go to theunfinishedworkweek.com. That's www.theunfinishedworkweek.com. This program was brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization, setting the standard for new media broadcasting.